investors. Literally the largest IPO in U.S. history. And of course, we talk about Coinbase, baby. I mean, this is unbelievable, guys. I'm going to tell you everything I think about this. Am I going to buy it? Am I going to trade it? I mean, we're going to get into what the CEO thinks. We're going to talk about my own crypto position and how I kind of feel about the whole crypto market, how it's affecting the rest of the market. I don't think people could truly appreciate the insanity of this IPO being currently worth, and it hasn't hit the public market yet, $435, more than $100 billion in market capitalization value, which, can I just put this in perspective? The Intercontinental Exchange, which runs the New York Stock Exchange and every other major pretty much stock market exchange, is only worth $66 billion in comparison, guys. This is literally the largest kind of tech crypto IPO, and we're going to ask ourselves, is this the Trojan horse, the hype of the hype that's going to lead to the next sell-off in crypto, or is this going to be the literal start of the monetary change in how we deal and look at things surrounding currencies? I mean, this is an intense conversation that is being had across the entire stock market. So not only are we going to look at the broader stock market, guys, if you live in Canada, you can really not even buy crypto on Coinbase because you're going to get huge fees. You can't use your credit cards, all kinds of hassles. So at the end of this, I'm even going to show you how to buy crypto from Canada, and I'm even going to make you an immediate 30% return on your crypto investment. Got some good affiliate links, but that's for later on. So with the clarity of my transparency, consider hitting that like button, folks, and let's get right into this by talking about the pre-market for Coinbase, because yes, it is trading right now, guys, and it has been quite apparent that anybody that was lucky enough to work for this company, get early shares, has been liquidating like crazy, literally by the millions of dollars, to the point where my computer sounds like it's going to have a stroke trying to keep up with this chart. And I mean, just take a look at this, guys. We fell all the way down to $440. Keep in mind, the pre-listing IPO price was $250. We are like already double that and holding up pretty strong until we hit public market fully, which should be very entertaining to see how all of that unfolds. But taking a look at the general broader market on my StockTwits forums, just to see how all of this is kind of coming into play today, guys, it's kind of crazy to think this hype train has literally driven up Doge, the Doge coin that's going to the moon, thanks to Elon Musk, or maybe perhaps literally. I don't know if that's true or not, but still holding up 42% today, guys. Bitcoin hit all-time highs, followed by a sell-off where it's starting to still find a base around the $63,000, $65,000 range, leaving everything else in kind of this cyclical, unusual downturn. I mean, the NASDAQ is pulling back. Almost all of my tech stocks have pulled back, and the only thing keeping my portfolio nice and stable today always seems to be them Canadian markets, folks. But that obviously has no correlation at all. And we can see StockTwits even threw up the Coinbase ticker symbol, and the only thing we can see so far is the fact that the message volume is up 311%, and since I started filming this video, there's already been 342 comments on the message board. So people are very excited about this. But just getting into the Google Analytics surrounding this, just to see, are we going to start seeing a cyclical downturn in crypto like we have the market? And I'm honestly going to say, guys, it is staggering to see the worldwide search analytics for Bitcoin right now, because even though we've seen a little bit of a downturn following, same with the stock market trends, there are still an insane amount of people looking up Bitcoin more than they are actually looking up the stock market. But more particularly, these aren't the trends that we want to pay attention to here. We actually want to take a look at the Coinbase IPO search rate itself, and just kind of diving into this, guys. I mean, take a look at this. It's literally hitting its search rate highs right now in the midst of all of this insanity, but it is very well deserved in my humble opinion. But would I be buying the Coinbase IPO? It's a tough question, because you really kind of got to sit here and ask yourself, if you want exposure to the crypto market, but you don't want, like, you kind of get this balance of direct exposure, but not direct exposure, because I believe Coinbase actually owns Bitcoin and some of these assets in and of themselves, but they make money off you trading it. And the cool thing is this is like basically being the middle managed broker, one of the major middle management brokers, because I mean, they did like $1 billion in last quarter in just revenue from the trading volume in Bitcoin, guys. So you're basically selling the shovels and the picks. And this is something the CEO actually touches base on, which we're going to hear from in a second. So, I mean, a lot of people I know, even in the dividend community, the stock market community, are interested in this IPO. Heck, I know like one of the biggest dividend investors, PPC Ian, is going to be buying into this IPO. Andre Zhik, a huge financial YouTuber out there, I know is interested in this IPO. Meet Kevin. All of these guys are paying attention to this right now, and it's just going to be fascinating, because I honestly think this is going to be overvalued. I think this has already gone above and beyond overvaluation metrics, and it really comes down to how you think the future of crypto is going to look. Because if we think it's going to be this 10, $15-20 trillion market cap thing, competing with the gold market, which right now, put it in perspective, Bitcoin sits at around $1 billion, or $1 trillion, sorry, which is huge, $1 trillion in market capitalization, total value of Bitcoin, entire Bitcoin value. And then you got gold trading around $7 to $8 trillion. So we are a ways out from gold value, but if you think it's going to expand to that level, guys, obviously the trading volume is going to continue. And considering Coinbase owns about 12 or 13% of the entire US crypto market, this is why we're seeing this being one of the most hyped IPOs, literally, probably of this year, and the largest IPO in the history of the stock market. Now, again, before we dive down in, maybe I'll reveal to you how much crypto I'm buying, because I would rather own the direct asset itself, and I have been buying the direct asset through two platforms. I have been using Wealthsimple because Wealthsimple is a fascinating way to basically have exposure to it directly, but indirectly at the same time, because you cannot move your Bitcoin around in a Wealthsimple account up here in Canada. It's just how I've been buying it. It's a real easy, probably the easiest way to do so, but you don't actually own it. They kind of just hold on to it. They put it in a really secured account that is insured up to $200 million in losses. And if you ever want to get your money out of your Bitcoin, you kind of have to convert it back to fiat currency, which to me kind of defeats the purpose of it, but it does come with that extra layer of security. So I've got about $2,148 in my Wealthsimple account. Not my favorite way of owning it, but it is an easy, cheap way of owning it if you are Canadian. And then finally, I've been using what most people in the crypto market have been using, which is an Exodus wallet that I have actually paired to a physical key, one of these little Trezor things that basically I have to plug this into my computer if I were to ever send Bitcoin out of my actual wallet, because a lot of people come down to these security issues and concerns, and it kind of scares people. They're like, well, if someone hacks my computer, they can just steal my Bitcoin. And that is really a true reality of holding Bitcoin in a physical manner. There's a lot of security risks. So you might want to set yourself up with maybe some of these extra devices that are really nerdy, guys, I know, but basically you cannot send Bitcoin from this wallet without plugging this into my computer first and then knowing the key that unlocks this to literally let you use my wallet here. And I've got about 2,139 US dollars. Keep in mind the Wealthsimple is in Canadian dollars and this is in US. So I've got about 5,000 CAD dollars, a little less than that. I'm going to be doing one more buy of Bitcoin, about $500 worth in the next coming week. And it'll probably be the last bit of Bitcoin I plan on buying for most of the year. I just wanted to kind of build up this nice little cushioned position. And like I said, I would much rather own Bitcoin this way than doing it through owning something like a Coinbase or stock, because this is a really weird asset. And if things work out the way people think it's going to work out, and you start seeing countries try and ban it, like gold happened back in the 1930s or 40s, I mean, you're going to see this thing just continue to explode in value, in my opinion. Especially considering all the Bitcoin that can be mined will likely be mined this year. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it, but if you guys are interested, before we just listen to the Coinbase CEO himself to finish up, if you guys actually live in Canada and you want to buy Bitcoin, but you don't want to pay those huge fees, you can't use your credit card using Coinbase, I've actually found ShakePay to be the easiest solution, because you can e-transfer the money at no cost, and then you can literally buy Bitcoin. The whole process sometimes can take anywhere from seconds to maybe 15 or 20 minutes for the e-transfer to go through. But honestly, this is pretty incredible, because they have a deal on right now where if you deposit $100, you immediately get $30 using my promotion link in the description below, and you'll also make me $30. So imagine buying Bitcoin and making an immediate 30% return. This could be a really cool introduction for anybody that hasn't played around with it that wants to. I'm promising you ShakePay is the easiest way to do this. And then obviously you can leave your money with ShakePay, but I usually don't recommend leaving your money on the actual exchange accounts. Like, I wouldn't even leave my crypto on the Coinbase account. You kind of want to buy a wallet or somewhere that is protected outside of the major exchanges, outside of the government's control, because obviously Coinbase still has to follow US regulation, whereas my Exodus wallet is literally a pure extension and disconnected from kind of the whole real market there. And then I secure it with a little extra key that I leave on my chain. So I feel like this is a fascinating way of dealing with it. But literally, guys, let's hear what the CEO has to say about this IPO, because some fascinating stuff going on here.
Over the years, people always ask me, well, should I invest in Coinbase or should I just buy the underlying asset? And I would always tell them, well, first of all, why not do both? Both are great ideas. But I can make the case for why, people might want to invest in Coinbase too, which is that we're kind of not only are we're not tied to one particular crypto asset. We're adding support for over 100 crypto assets now, and there'll be more and more in the future. And we're also kind of what you might call an indexed bet or a levered bet on the crypto space more broadly, because we're selling picks and shovels. You know, we're helping people access and use this new technology. So I think we're going to grow along with the crypto space, but if we keep growing share, then we'll sort of be an addition of that on top of just the price of crypto, hopefully.
One of the other big questions I think investors have when it comes to valuation is whether they should compare you to a broker or an exchange. Your valuation, by the way, is effectively the same now as the New York Stock Exchange. Or they should think of you as a fintech company, more in line with a PayPal or a Square in terms of multiple.
Yeah, so this is one of those companies where it's tough to come up with an exact comparable. You know, it's kind of like saying, is Tesla a car company? Well, yes, but it's also kind of a software company, right? Or you could come up with any example. You know, is Amazon a retailer? Sort of, but it's also a software company. And so, you know, Coinbase it's technology, it's software, it's cybersecurity. It also has aspects of financial services with compliance and legal and various licenses that we've gotten. And so you could say, okay, well, that's finance and technology, that's fintech. And I think there's some truth to that. But it's actually kind of different because most fintech companies are really building, you know, I would say kind of like the UX layer on top of all the same underlying rails, whether that's ACH transfers or SWIFT or wire transfers or credit cards. And so a lot of their services look similar. They can innovate in the UX layer, but they're all the pricing and the speed at which transactions move and everything is kind of similar because it's underneath. We're kind of really, you can think of us as the first fintech that's kind of like vertically integrated. We own the customer relationship all the way down to integrating with the underlying rails themselves. And of course, these are brand new rails, the cryptocurrency blockchains out there that are inherently global. You know, they're cross-border. They're allowing kind of transaction confirmation times to come down. They're allowing fees to come down, at least, you know, when things are working well. And we need to keep scaling blockchains. So building on these new rails is kind of a really cool opportunity to create a new type of company, a crypto company. It's really kind of a new category.
All right, folks. So to finish all of this up, just taking a look at where the price sits, because it has been a volatile roller coaster that is about to hit the public market, and it'll be neat to see if we get a continued sell-off or a continued rally. But we're sitting at $476 a share, and every time I open this chart, my computer sounds like a jet engine is going off. So we know there's some hype going on here, and I really want to pass the question off to you. Are you guys interested in the crypto market at all? Because to me, I used to hate Bitcoin with a passion, and it's kind of come to the point now where the writing is on the wall. The banks are getting involved. All the major fintech companies from Square to PayPal to Tesla and all these huge conglomerates are buying into Bitcoin. So even if you don't own Bitcoin itself, you do own it if you own an S&P 500 index, if you own a NASDAQ 100 index, because a lot of these top-weighted companies have now started investing in this asset class. So to me, I kind of just had to suck it up and say, look, like something's happening here, guys. It's time to recognize it for what it is, and I wanted some pure play exposure, and yeah, it's just going to be exciting to see how this pans out. If this truly is going to be the final tippity top of the hype train for the next little while, or if this is just the start of a change in the way we look at monetary policy. Now, I'm not going to debate this any farther. I want to pass the question off to you. What do you guys think about this crazy IPO hitting $484 a share pre-market? In that comment section below. Crazy stuff today, guys. So stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.